Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of CSCI 210. This week we will continue our big picture overview of computer science. First of all, I will start off with an old joke. The question is the recipe for Welsh rabbit. The first step is to get yourself a rabbit. Now, similarly, in a robotics class, the first step is to get yourself a robot. You really need to have that robot by now, because next week we will be putting it together if you haven't done so already. So if you do not have a robot, please see your instructor. Okay, look at last week. We looked at IT history and we tried to relate it to our own life. By the way, save your timeline and look back on it about 10 years. I think you'll be, in effect, kind of like looking on your high school annual. Okay, this week we'll look at IT careers and ethics. Career paths in IT are important. Obviously, if they're thinking about a computer science career. They're also important if you're not thinking about a computer science career, because you might be in a point where you have to manage IT people, or you might have to work with IT people, and it's important to know what the capabilities and limitations of the various fields are. I found it really interesting talking about ethics that I was preparing this class and this article from Capital One about responsible AI popped up. It was even more interesting where the quote from Tuita Mercado, their director, is Capital One is keen on baking ethics into every stage of the process. I just found that kind of interesting. Okay, what we'll do in this class is input and output. We'll take a look at the links and read and study, and then we will have a presentation and a paper to do for this week to show what we've learned. So let's take a look at read and study. Okay, the first one is top careers in computer science. Now, back when I first started, computer people were computer people, and we were pretty much interchangeable. Now take a look. You got all these different computer science degrees. When we first started out with computers, everybody in computer science was a computer programmer, because there wasn't any real applications or anything. If you wanted a computer to do something, you had to tell it to do it. Well, you grew and you diversified, and you see database administrator down there. That's what I was for a while. And I worked with some web developers, and I worked with some web designers, and I found out they had a completely different skill set than I did. They did what they did, I did what I did, and we were both happy. Okay, so learning about different careers. Okay, a day in the life is kind of it's computer science people who went out into industry talking about what a typical day is and what their job satisfaction is. I will interject that I have historically had job satisfaction and having a unique contribution. That is, I had a skill set that was unusual for the place, and I was the only one that had it. For example, in my last job, I was the only database administrator they had. Didn't work so well at 2 o'clock in the morning when the database stopped, but it was really neat feeling knowing that people were depending on me. Okay, the next link is JARS. That's not a misspelling. That stands for General Aviation and Radio Service. These are the people that help get the Bible translations in the hands of the people that need them. And as they say on their website, they provide logistical solutions in areas like transportation, technology, hint hint, media, and trainings, so that the gospel can be spread. So what you have here is you have Christians using their computer science skills to help spread the gospel. Now, my son is in a similar situation. He graduated from Anderson, became a youth minister, but as the technical demands on the church increased, they needed somebody to step in that had the technical background and the technical bent, and he did. I guess the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So now he's on the tech crew for that church. Actually, he's on the tech crew for another church. So that's another example of Christians using technical skills, is you can become part of a tech crew at one of the mega churches. Okay, moving on down to the next item. The next item is Christianity and Computing from Calvin University. And this talks about the relationship between Christianity and computing. people tend to think of those as two different things, and they're not really, and these various articles explain the interrelation between them. Okay, last but not least, I would be remiss if I were talking to you about computer science careers if I didn't at least mention how CSU can help you get there. Okay, and here's the 4 degrees that we offer. The first one, a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science. That's pretty much a typical computer science. People go into networking, they go into network administration. You might have a database administrator, and that's what that's about. Bachelor of Science degree in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has gotten so important you have people that specialize, they make a whole career out of it. Applied computing are those people that bridge the gap between business people and computer people. When I was a database administrator, I was really too concerned about keeping the database running. I really couldn't help them with really esoteric queries. Part of what you have in here is something that's called data mining. I got that from Oracle, and they told me an example of it is they did data mining on the maintenance records for F-16 fighter jets. And they found out there was a little bitty $2 part in the strut that goes bad about the same time that you have to pull the main engine and do an overhaul on it. So by including that little part in the engine overhaul, you decrease the overall downtime. Okay, the Bachelor of Technology degree is for somebody who has a previous associate degree. If you have an associate degree, you might want to contact your advisor, see if you can get some credit for it towards a computer science degree. Okay, so that's our programs that we offer for computer science. Okay, so we've gotten the input. Let's take a look at output. Okay, for output you have 2 parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is talking about careers, and you talk about 3 common careers that computer scientists go to and their salary ranges. Then you talk about the 5 careers in computer science with the highest job satisfaction ratings. Now, the first one you can use the given reference. The second one, you got to be a bit of a data scientist yourself, and you got to dig for this data a little bit. Okay, the last part of the assignment is you read one of the articles from Calvin University, and you create a 5 to 8 slide PowerPoint presentation that explains the paper. Okay, so that is that's what's on tap for this week. Next week we build a robot, so thank you for listening and get ready to robot.